Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Tuesday, December 17, 2019. This is my post-market wrap-up, and I have a lot of stuff I want to cover with you. Let's start off with this. Another day for record highs for this market, and not one of you are surprised about this. I explained to you it was going to happen. Just yesterday we hit record highs, and I told you we were not done. Well, here we go again, and we're still not done. And I'm going to explain to you what is going to happen. Now, let's cover a couple of other assets, including the bond market, something I don't even do anymore because the bond market is the most rigged part of this market. But I want to talk about it a little bit. Let's start off with cryptocurrencies, which got hit today. Are you surprised about that? No, because I told you. Precious metals, pretty much flat, a little to the downside. Any shock here? No. Why? Because I told you it was going to happen. Crude oil had its highest close since September again, over $60 a barrel. It's not done. It's going higher. Okay. Now, what I want to explain to you is this, and I honestly want you to focus on this. Look at that. Okay, what do I mean by this? I've explained to you over the past several weeks, I've called every single time that the Federal Reserve was going to increase their purchases with regarding every single aspect of the yield curve, as well as this interbank repo extravaganza, which is a mechanism to keep the short end of the yield curve suppressed while faking the illusion of liquidity in this market. We are drying up. We're drying up, people. What does that mean? Despite the fact that there are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of digital dollars existing on the earth. Remember, only 1.4 trillion of actual printed dollars exists. The rest of it is not on the elemental chart. It's in fantasy land. It's fairy dust. You got it? And these are central bank issued pieces of fairy dust. Unlike a cryptocurrency, which are non-central bank issued and you actually own them. You do not own the dollars that the Federal Reserve creates out of thin air. They're owned by the Federal Reserve and owed back to the Federal Reserve plus interest that they create as fairy dust. You understand? The debt is never meant to be paid back. When you hear some argument that, oh, the debt's never going to be paid back, it's not meant to be paid back, people. The more debt a central bank issues, the stronger they become. Let me explain this again for the quadrillionth time with derivatives behind it. There is this mythical thing out there that some people, again, to some, politics has become a religion. Not only do they believe in it, but they practice it every day, not just on Sundays. So they have to defend their savior deity. In this case, it's Donald Trump, and at all costs. Even if they are shown glaring truth to the contrary, they will attack. And I'm probably going to get attacked here. So the mythical theme is President Trump is allowing the Fed to massively inflate the debt so he can end the Fed and take it down. What these people fail to understand is the most basic element of central banking, and that is this. Central banks issue debt. One thing, it's their only product. The more debt they issue, the stronger they become. The Federal Reserve is stronger today than it was yesterday. It will be stronger tomorrow as they issue more debt. Their final solution collectively, the hundreds of world central banks around the world, are to issue more debt. If they have, let's say, a president, whoever it might be, a supposed head of a country, asking for more debt, nothing on this earth could make a central bank more happy. Now today, I took a nice snapshot of this, and I even wrote an article about it. President Trump is asking for rate cuts and more quantitative easing. He has yet to explain once how this will help the middle class. What this will do is allow the Federal Reserve to issue more debt, their final solution to become the lenders and buyers of last resort. America is a nation debt slave to its central bank. The banks run everything. Everything from every single politician all the way down to you, wherever you might be on the spectrum. If you're in the extreme lower class of society, you're probably not watching this video, but you too fall under the rulership of a central bank no matter where you are in the world. So what people don't get here is, again, the most minute, basic element of central banking. The more debt they issue, the more powerful they become. It's their end goal, is to issue more debt. And again, President calling for deeper rate cuts. President calling for more quantitative easing. President explaining today that the dollar is too strong. He's explaining to you in no uncertain terms. He wants to dilute the dollar. How will that happen? By the Fed printing more, adding more fairy dust to a digital screen. This will destroy the middle class. It's not helping to bring down the Fed. This is a mythical lie that is being spread by propagandists, propaganda YouTube channels who are being paid to push the narrative. I cannot be bought. Forget it. It won't happen. Okay, but there are some that will fall to that level, that they will accept funds to push a false narrative, and there's a lot of them out here on YouTube. Trust me on this, okay? Now, with that said, let me explain to you why the floodgates of death are about to be unleashed. So, we know, I personally believe that they overplayed their cards with regard to calling this a done deal. It's not done, okay? It's not signed. There's nothing in paper, not even in Chinese, from what I understand, okay? It's not a done deal no matter what they're trying to tell you. This is nothing. It's not historic. It's a zero. We got nothing. We got promises. That's it. Promises from China, and we're going to eliminate tariffs to zero. That is historic. Going from tariff man to zero, I think that's pretty historic. But anyway, so to me, that some kind of a deal is priced into this market, okay? I honestly don't believe there's a guy on the planet, very few, who have an understanding of the markets as I do, all right? And it's the only reason I have it is because I study this around the clock, around the freaking clock. It never leaves my mind. So now that we realize that a deal is priced into the market, what catalyst will lift stocks higher? Despite the fact that Larry Kudlow just yesterday explained that the United States, because of this deal, is going to double its exports. Larry, where is it? Show me it even in Chinese. I will translate it, or I'll have it translated. For me, it doesn't exist. It's not there. It's also not on the elemental chart, and it's fairy dust. You understand? So the next catalyst here, and we got a taste of it today, when the president came out explaining, I want the Fed to cut rates deeper. I want more quantitative easing. I want the dollar weaker. How does this work itself into reality? All right. The Fed is going to open the floodgates here. We can expect the repo market to explode. Again, there's reasons for this. The number one reason is really to give the illusion of liquidity. Cash is moving overnight from one bank to another, and then back and forth, and then back and forth, okay? It's like a swap, okay? They're doing this to give the illusion of liquidity. Liquidity is drying up. The Federal Reserve, going back to when I started this video, I said I was going to talk about the bond market. The yield curve today kind of moves higher, the whole curve. This will not be allowed to happen. The yield curve must be suppressed. So what's happening with this repo extravaganza, it's a scam, okay? Just to give the illusion
Number one, that there's more liquidity in the market. And number two, to keep the short end of the yield curve pinned down so we have a normal slope to the yield curve. You understand? So the curve is actually normal, but today the curve came up a little bit. The Fed is going to increase its buying along this entire thing to suppress rates further. Now, if the Fed cuts rates like the president asked today, what does that mean for the yield curve? It will drop. You understand? The Fed will increase its purchases, more quantitative easing, more fairy dust printed out of thin air, which will dilute the dollar. You understand? Now, how will a diluted dollar help you as a member of the middle class? It will not help you. You'll have to pay more for everything. Your interest earning accounts will be more in the negative than they are now. Jim Rickards today said that the goal of central banks is negative rates in real terms. Well, here in the United States, we already have that. People with an interest earning account are actually earning less than the actual rate of inflation. This is negative real rates, okay? It's going to get much worse, again, if the president gets his wish, and he is going to. Now, understand, the president is a puppet. Puppet. Now, those of you that believe that politics is a religion, and you have to defend him because it's your faith, listen to what I am explaining to you. He is a puppet. The banks run the world. The more debt they're allowed to issue or called on to issue, like the president said today, the stronger they become. People, this is a multi-decade plan in action here, okay? We've lost already. Your saving grace here doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's also in fantasy land. It's fairy dust. The president, no king, no queen, no monarch, no dictator has the power to take down a single world central bank, for which these are all owned by the same entities. It's a global phenomenon. They got us right in the middle. You understand? I can't believe that there are some people who still believe that the president is going to take down the Fed like this is any part of his plan. It's incredible. Today we just found out we're going to have a $1.4 trillion spending plan. The president promised never again to sign anything like this, but he has done it, or he will. He hasn't done it yet. He will, though, sign the spending plan. Where's this cash coming from? Any guesses? Yeah, exactly. It's coming from the Federal Reserve, who's going to conjure it out of thin air. It's not real. It's the mechanism here. Now, like I was saying earlier, being that we have this deal that isn't priced into the market, the next catalyst to move stocks higher, believe me, this is the plan, and they're going to go higher, is for the Fed to go beyond supernova. You understand? Beyond supernova. And we're going to, even with that happening, it's happening now, the president is going to call for deeper cuts. He actually asked for negative rates several times this year. His goal, the president and the Fed, is to issue in actual negative rates, not just in real terms like Rickard says. Jim, I love you. You're a smart guy. You know what I'm talking about here. Anyway, this is the goal. Negative rates, punishing the middle class, whatever's left of it, sucking everything they can out of the middle class here to bring about the two-tier society and the largest wealth transfer that has ever been seen in the history of the world. You understand? That's where we are going here. This is why you got to look ahead, people. You got to know where to put your cash now in suppressed assets like metals. You know that cryptocurrency is getting hammered. You want to be in a central bank issued note, or would you rather own it yourself? Something else you can transact in that they have no power over. You choose, okay? Stay in the dollar. The president is calling for a weaker dollar. Sounds like a great investment to me. Where do I sign? You got to be a mental midget to think that owning dollars, holding dollars is a place to be. Really? You think so? Okay, well, you're in the wrong spot. Please exit out of this video, unsubscribe, or whatever you got to do, because you cannot be talked to. It's unbelievable. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, king dollar. Yeah. We'll see how that works out down the line. But with regard to this market, crude's going up, stocks are going up, period. You pull profits here, and you convert these into suppressed assets. Across the spectrum, you know what they are. There's no guy out here on the freaking planet explaining this to you like me, telling you what's going to happen before it does. I don't pull this stuff out of a hat, people. I study these markets like you have no idea. I really do. You know, let me just close with this. People ask me all the time, hey, Greg, how much cash do I need as a trader to make X amount per day on average? The answer is very simple. Although capital is a factor, what you pull out of this market in terms of profit is directly proportional to what you put into studying it. You understand? This is why I have studied every aspect of banking that you can think about. I understand clearly how central banking works because it's the number one factor here today. The central banks are running the show. I understand the markets, every intricacy of it. I understand the derivative markets. I mean, I don't think there's a part of this market that I don't know. And I constantly go over the data over and over and over again. This is why I can crush this market. This is why I just bought myself a new Maserati, for those of you that don't know. Yeah, I did. I bought a freaking Maserati. It's my dream car. It's what I've always wanted. I own it. Sitting in my garage today. Anyway, look, with that said, I'm going to let you all go. I really do love all of you, and I care about you. I want us to succeed. I want us all to win. And you know something? We can win. We can win if we understand the game that is being played on us and not get blinded by the religion of politics. Once you snap out of the religion of politics, you will see clearly free thought, free action. It's what it's all about, people, not the dumbing down, brain-damaged information they want to fist-feed you on a daily basis in epic amounts. What else can I say, people? Please share the video. I know it's been awfully long, but I think it's a powerful one, and I think it's important. See you in the morning.